It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, a good day and welcome to the program. It is County-Wide. I'm Brad Miller, and we're happy to welcome into studio today a couple of representatives of the parents of estranged adult children. I believe the acronym is PEACE. Heather?
Correct.
Heather Morgan is joining us. Christy Myers, very active in this organization. Heather, I believe you founded this, chapter or local?
Well, I founded PEACE AZ, which was Arizona.
Okay.
PEACE Arizona.
So for the state.
Correct.
Representing. Okay.
Yes.
And you are here in the Verde Valley.
I am.
Local folks. Christy likewise live in the local area.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to talk. We've chatted here for about 45 minutes before opening the mics because I'm having a hard time even helping our audience to understand what we're going to talk about today. So let me go back to the name of the organization. Parents of Estranged Adult Children. The two of you have that commonality, and that's why this group was organized. You've gotten to a point where your kids who are 18 years old plus, you do not have the kinds of relationships that most of us would want to take for granted. The two of you were parents that were not involved with drugs in your own personal lives. You weren't arrested. There weren't cops. There weren't things where parents and children might split under circumstances many of us could understand. These were things, Christy, you said before, were swimming along fine. Mm-hmm. And one day, things change between you and one of your kids. Heather, likewise.
Correct.
It kind of, sort of came out of the blue.
Kind of out of the blue.
It's difficult, lengthy, and complicated, but
Yep.
Is that about right? And is that where PEACE, the organization, comes from?
Exactly. It's kind of insidious, and it comes through just different ways of ghosting from your kid, some silent treatment, some lack of communication, not being included in events, things like that. A lot of parents talk about it kind of going away slowly, and they don't know what's happening.
And in a short time, since you put this group together a year or barely a year ago.
Just about a year, yeah.
You have dozens of families that have come forward, parents that have come forward with stories similar to yours.
Exactly, yep.
And in most of those cases, there was never a big blow-up. There was never a big event. There was never a hurt, a humiliation, an accident. Is that right? Just somehow dynamic changed.
Yeah, I would say that probably about 90% of the parents that we come in contact with, they don't always know the reason. They don't know the reasons behind it. They just know that contact has stopped, that they've been trying to reach their child, and they've been cut off. So if there's events that have occurred, it hasn't been acknowledged to me of any one event that was a crime or a police-involved event or something that was just such a big family issue that they couldn't recover.
We spent about 45 minutes before we opened the mics because it was so difficult, even for me, and I've been doing this for dozens of years, 30 years, of even how to introduce this subject, Christy, to our listening audience. It's going to be the default setting for our listeners to say, well, those two mothers must have done something wrong.
Correct.
You were the adults, and now the youngster who is now 18 or older, adult children, has now chosen to exit your life.
Correct.
And to them you say,
you know what? We're the soccer moms. We're the ones that picked up our kids at the curb after school. We're the ones that juggling jobs and children and activities. I mean, we're not the ones that have a past with drugs and our kids end up in foster care and things like that. And it's unfortunate as people come into our group to see that this has actually happened and the heads are spinning. Nobody understands it because it makes no sense. And I've just observed a cultural shift with technology. There's a lot of voices in our adult children's minds. They have a lot of other outside influences now to get behind some of these ideas. And for the longest time, my daughter in particular, she sent me emails and she was saying, I'm going no contact. And there were certain buzzwords that I didn't understand at all.
Meaning just with you, or generally speaking, I'm no contact with other friends and family, or
nope,
just you?
Me. And I thought, okay, well, she's an adult. I'll give her some space. And it took me many, many years to figure out that no contact meant something completely different than space. It really was that she's cutting me off and out of her
It meant
life.
goodbye.
Yeah,
It
goodbye.
means-
But not
It means
even not
goodbye.
even in those polite terms. 'Cause
No,
goodbye
and
can be
she,
considered polite.
They have their ideas, and then like all parents would want to do, we want to meet up and figure out,
Sure.
how
Fix it if you can.
Exactly.
Get together to talk, and even that option has been eliminated.
You need to go work on yourself, and so okay, it's so there's a ambiguous state that you find
Yeah.
yourself in where you don't know exactly. Most parents are adhering to that. Obviously, they're in pain. This has happened. They've got to self-reflect. How did we get here? That does happen. I would say most parents are willing to take a look. But what I have found is there's no coming to the table. There's
Right.
no reconciliation. That's
Right.
not the end game with this particular situation. The kids that decide to go no contact, they feel justified in their mind with what they're doing, and they're absolutely okay with no relationship with you any longer.
Heather, is your situation similar?
Very, very similar. It's pretty much just the end of it. They don't have an interest in anything in our lives. They don't want to be involved with siblings, with other family members. Some different examples of parents' testimonials that we've had come in that the reasons, there aren't reasons, and there's no real interest in finding a solution. The adult child doesn't want to resolve it.
The door shuts
The door shuts.
with a slam,
Absolutely.
and they have no interest. They knock the knob off on the other side.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, and I don't want to overshare, and I want it to be comfortable for both of you, talking and sharing very difficult things. You have other kids.
True, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I've got to ask, it seems
Yeah.
like the entire, not just between you and your estranged child, it seems like the entire family dynamic must be affected.
The entire family dynamic has been hugely affected
Well, sure.
for all of us.
How can it not be?
Yep, on and off for 13 years.
May I ask, in what ways?
Well, my younger kids have just had to learn how to deal with an absent family member and a brother they were just crazy about, that he was a hero to them.
Did he cut them off equally?
Yes, he
Okay,
did.
okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
So we've all had to do some soul searching. My daughters have gone to therapy. My son has gone to therapy. My husband and I are doing different things. I mean, it just takes a ton of soul searching to figure it out, because you have to come to a place where you may have to accept it, and everybody does in different ways, and we're all different. So,
And in your search for trying to figure things out through whatever it is, faith, through counseling, through whatever, you still weren't kind of finding exactly what it was that was maybe going to help remedy, at least in your own mind and heart. And that's where the group organization came from. Is that right?
Exactly. Many, many years of searching, mostly through faith-based people, local people, good pastors, lots of counseling. But what I needed to do was find other parents like me. And I would say, I was driving home one day and I said, I would just drive to the moon to find another parent that could understand. Because it's just pretty, it's not as rare now because we're talking about it.
Right.
It's becoming kind of a thing. They're calling it a silent epidemic. Other psychologists out in different areas are bringing it to the table. It's going to be on Dr. Phil soon. There's a lot of chatter about it. But at the time, when you're alone trying to figure this out, you think it's your fault. For so many reasons.
Okay, that's what I want to get.
Yeah.
I mean, we can probably do 2 hours of a show. The parent is absolutely going to blame themselves.
Absolutely.
Minus evidence, minus anything else.
Right.
There's no way you can avoid that. And that can be a hole that you just can't swim out of.
You're absolutely right.
And the group is aimed at helping that. Christy was your first.
Christy was my first parent at my first meeting. And she joined me from, she was on the other side of town, and she walked in, and I was so thankful I had one.
Right. Well, absolutely.
I had no idea. And I did have an idea that there was a lot of international, talk. I found different websites. Actually, AARP had something on it.
Okay.
And that was my first.
That makes sense.
My first experience with finding out was alienated grandparents. There's
Right.
grandparents out there that don't have a relationship with their grandkids.
Oh, you hear about that. I can name in our own family that's happened.
Oh, yeah.
It was amended, thank God.
Thank God.
But I can, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's tough. Really, really tough.
Okay, ladies, I will absolutely, as I told you off mic, this is one of the most difficult subjects we've ever talked about, and we've talked about everything on this show. And I thank the two of you to the bottom of my heart for coming in and sharing your very tough stories in the hopes that other people can be provided for in this group. Parents of Estranged Adult Children, PEACE is the acronym, may help provide some of that comfort in an extraordinarily trying time. Christy Myers, Heather Morgan, our guests. It's Countywide. We will be back right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley. And your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farms.
We welcome you back to the program. I'm Brad Miller, and we're talking with a couple of representatives here. Parents of Estranged Adult Children, PEACE is the acronym. Heather Morgan founded the Arizona chapter, not the national, right?
Correct.
Okay.
International. PEACE is actually international.
I'm happy it's there. I'm sorry it's needed.
True.
It's one of an organization kind of like that. Christy Myers here too, a very early member of the Arizona chapter of the PEACE organization. I know, again, because we chatted, but I'd like you to share it with our listeners that you saw it what we might call more traditional ways. Once this happened within your family, your adult child basically closed the door on their relationship completely. Right. Mm-hmm. You saw it, mental health care, clergy, things that most of us would turn to.
You bet.
Yet it didn't provide to you completely what PEACE, hopefully, is.
Sure. Well, I think in the 13 years that we have gone through it with our family, we did get a lot of really good love and support from our church family, for sure.
Good.
But we didn't get the kind of understanding that you can get from somebody who's actually walking in those shoes. And that's really it. That's the bottom line. And if you can talk to another parent that can say, I'm going through this, and there's so many commonalities, there's different prongs to this type of a situation. So it's like any other situation in your family, addiction or cancer or sickness or death. It really makes a difference when you're with your community. Right. And I actually had a conversation with a good friend of mine who is a family attorney, and it was her idea to do this exact thing. She said to me, I don't recommend anything. A lot of parents come and talk about legal issues. They don't know what to do about their trust. They want to maybe look at grandparents' rights. There's lots of issues there. And I had dinner with a family attorney, and she said, I recommend you get really, really good mental help and get some specific help to what you're dealing with, this ambiguous loss, this complicated loss, because you have to live this way. You're in this for the long game. That's how she said it to me. And then she said, and then you need to find your people. There are people out there, and they're isolated. They're shamed. Yeah. They're being judged.
Bingo. I want to touch on that because I want anybody listening who understands what you're talking about today, I want them to reach out to you. And I promise you, folks, we will give information to how you can reach out to Heather and Christy and the organization PEACE, the Parents of Estranged Adult Children. Shame. Parents are going to default to this is my fault. Even if you know in your heart it's not, that's where you're going to go. Christy, I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent. I know that. Any shortcoming, you're going to blame yourself.
And it's absolutely true, because the perception that people automatically assume is, what did you do?
You did
to
something
make
terrible.
Your kids
Yes.
will not want to be in your life.
Yes.
And it's so difficult. It's like wearing a scarlet letter, because it affects everyone. And you know that they're thinking that, and you know that you're not that parent that abused them. You were just doing normal discipline and normal life. And so you do really go through just a tremendous amount of isolation, self-loathing. You travel back through your memories. Where did I screw this up? And so you're just kind of ruminating and spiraling down the rabbit hole, and it's not healthy. And some people get really angry and they lash out to their kids, which
Right.
makes it worse.
Right.
And it fuels the whole thing. And we call that reactive abuse, because you're actually responding to what's happening to you, and they're going, see, I told you.
Yeah.
See how
You're
are?
crazy.
And so you actually feed into that
Yep.
narrative that they
Yep.
have in their minds, and it's their reason for cutting off, and you're just trying to process. And so it is so important to find your people, so that if you are in that space, at least you are with a tribe of people that understand where
Right.
you're at.
Right.
And I always say, don't go complain to your kids. Come to the group, because you're not going to help your situation.
And let's make it clear, and please correct me if I'm not getting this right. The group is not there to say, we can fix your problem.
Correct.
No.
We can solve what's
Right.
going on in your family. That is not the charter.
We're just parents going
No,
through
we're
it
just,
too.
It's just a parent-led group.
Right.
We aren't therapists. We aren't pastors. But we are there to comfort each other, encourage each other, offer resources. There's places to go, to read. There's a lot of information
We
out there.
do a monthly Zoom.
Yeah, 3 a month. Three
Okay.
So we have a
monthly
lot of
Zoom meetings a
resources
month.
for parents
Yep.
to
Okay.
plug in and try to learn how to live beyond this.
I want to ask you one other thing. And again, I want to assure our audience we'll give all of those pertinents, Facebook names, all of the information, so that you can reach out. And you'll be able to do it before this program is wrapped up today. Heather, in our earlier talk, you mentioned something, and here again, I'd like you to share it with the audience, because it does seem like a lot of people, no matter where you are in this process, no matter how much time has gone by, there will be still a desire to make amends, for things to be, for lack of a better word, fixed.
You bet.
And you said sometimes that does happen, but re-estrangement is quite common.
Very common, 65 to 70% of the time, they estrange again. So that's really, really difficult and really tough odds for these parents.
But they're willing to do it because they want to see their grandchildren and they want their family restored.
Of course. You would jump into that under almost any circumstance. This is about power, isn't it?
It is.
This is about control, isn't it?
Well, if you think about just human behavior, interactions with just your neighbors, your friends, you don't leverage their emotions and employ abusive tactics. I mean, I wouldn't stay friends with people that behave that way, but because there are children, we stay in the ring, the boxing ring. Because,
And the children know that.
Yes, and so there's the ties. Sometimes we hurt the people closest to us because we know they love us and they'll take it. Mom and dad, they love us unconditionally, and so it happens.
Someone said on our page that they treat you the worst because as the mom, you'll always forgive. You'll always forgive them. You can just, you be their doormat, because eventually they might see you that they love you. But if you continue to forgive them, then they continue to abuse you. There's just a lack of respect.
It's a safe place for them to do that, I guess. I don't know.
It's the disrespect. It's really, really tough.
And
It's really
so,
tough.
they need their boundaries, but also parents that show up with this kind of stuff going on, as difficult as it is, we have to have a little bit of a buffer between us and what these adult children, as adults, are choosing to how they're living out their lives and how they're choosing to treat us. And so, as with any relationship, you would never allow a stranger to treat you this way. And so, healthy boundaries. I call it loving from a distance, because some people say, well, just pretend like your kids are dead. I can't live that way.
Can't do that.
Oh, my
We
God.
can't do
I
that.
love
Yeah.
my children
Right.
unconditionally regardless. However, they're adults. And some of the things that are going on, it's healthy for me to love them from a distance, and create like space. It's like a detachment. And so that I can I call it, you're walking down a hallway, stop knocking on doors that are closed, keep walking and go through those doors that are open.
Yeah.
So it might mean volunteering. It might mean coming alongside a family that needs a grandmother. Or that needs a mother figure mentor.
Whatever options you can find to
Yes.
swim up out of the darkness.
We continue to thrive. I work really hard at not becoming bitter, not becoming that person that
Right.
they want to say that I am.
Right.
Because whether they're in my life or not, I'm getting older and I want to grow old gracefully and with some dignity. And I still want to be a loving person. And life sometimes can make you ugly, and then so a lot of what my personal journey has been is conquering that within myself. Like, I'm not going to let this change my goodness and my value, and that I still have something to offer this world and the people in my world. And if through the peace, I guess in a roundabout way, I didn't expect it, but I kind of found a calling to at least come alongside other hurting parents and lock arms with them and say, you're not alone. We can do this together. We applaud when families can reconcile.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We applaud. We're all for that. People
Right.
are praying, sending good vibes, whatever their spiritual affiliations are. And then at the end of the day, we have to continue to live. We have other children.
Right.
We have our life. I mean,
You've got to.
Sometimes I say, I was here first before I ever had kids. There was
Yeah.
Christy.
Right.
Yep.
And you've got to go back to
I got to go back to that. There was a girl that started all this.
The organization is called Peace, the Parents of Estranged Adult Children. We'll take one final break. We'll come back with our guests, and we will absolutely give information about how you can reach out to these ladies, their organization, and to know that you are not alone. We'll break. We'll be back to Countywide right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust with the revolutionary Comfort Bridge technology factory installed into select Goodman gas furnaces and air handlers to ensure the entire system operates at peak energy efficient performance. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates, locally owned and operated since 1983. Visit them at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Let's talk. That's the message from Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, providing a personal touch when making insurance and financial decisions. Jonna will simplify your insurance needs while offering competitive pricing. Let's talk auto, home, life, and farm. Call Jonna at Farm Bureau today at 928-649-8686. Your Cottonwood Farm Bureau property and casualty insurance company. At Farm Bureau, they insure more than just farms.
Welcome back to the program, our final few moments here of Countywide. And the stories that we have heard from the two of you, compelling, heartbreaking, and all of it. And I know there are others out there, Heather,
You bet.
who can benefit from finding out more about your organization. Parents of Estranged Adult Children, Peace is the wonderful acronym. And how do people get in touch with you and find out more?
We have a Facebook page. It is a private page. It's Peace International, P-E-A-C, and then I-N-T''L. Peace International is our Facebook page, and you can request to join. There's a few short questions. We'll take a look over that and make sure that it makes sense for you to be in our group. And you can send me an email at my name, Heather, and then Peace, P-E-A-C-A-Z, @gmail.com.
And then there are in-person meetings.
Well, we haven't established in person.
Gotcha.
We have everything via Zoom.
Okay.
And we do send emails out. I have a list of we have over 680 people on our page.
Okay.
And through our email. So we do have a whole community of folks that are are really getting a lot out of being a part of our group.
But conversation and those through Zoom. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So there's what an important component. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 3 a month. We do 3 support meetings a month.
Okay, this is extraordinary. Here again, I thank you both for sharing your very painful stories, but it's so important, and that's why you're here. That's why this organization exists, and that's why the good work will continue. Again, PEACE is the organization, the Parents of Estranged Adult Children. The website that Heather gave, the Facebook page, is the perfect way to reach out to them. We would encourage you to do so. Heather Morgan, Christy Myers, our guests. I'm Brad Miller. It's Countywide, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.